with a speech entitled The Two Sisters. Please welcome Pamela Benjamin.
Good afternoon, good evening, digital communicators, friends, and guests. I'm going to tell you a story of two sisters. This story began 6 years ago when I got a text from their mother. Could you please come to my house and tutor my two girls? I had just started tutoring, and I had a few students that I had worked with. One was a horror, and another one was wonderful. I didn't know what waited for me on the other side of their front door. I'm going to tell you a little snapshot of my journey with the two sisters. You see, they were quite unique. Unique is an understatement. One was an artist. She cared about everything beautiful and everything creative. Her head was in the clouds, and her mind was always thinking about her next painting, about her next drawing. And oh, Asian boy bands. Yes, Asian boy bands. I became quite the expert at Asian boy bands because as we worked on math, we would listen to the latest tunes of the Asian boy bands. And I started to like them as well. It became part of my running set, my play set. And I never ever thought I would listen to something like that. Well, that was sister number two. She's the oldest sister. And in her language, her nickname was Aka. Aka means big sister. And she had responsibility to lead younger sister. Younger sister is named Chinari, which means little girl. Aka and Chinari were quite the duo, where Aka had her mind in the clouds, was always thinking of how to be kind and loving and joyful. Chinari had different plans. You see, my friends, Chinari was very, very clever. She really thought about everything all the time. When her mother asked me, what do you think Chinari should do when she grows up? I said, maybe world domination. If that doesn't work, maybe she can become a ruler or dictator in a third world part of the country, of the world. Her mom didn't think that was funny, but Chinari was always scheming, always thinking. She was a clever girl. So while I would listen to the Asian boy bands with Aka, when I sat and worked with Chinari, I would always listen to tales of woe, what had just happened at school. Miss Pam, did you know that so-and-so said this to me? And then they said that to this person, and then this person said this to me, and then that person said this to me. Dear friends, I try to stay on top of things, but I could never figure out what Chinari was talking about. And I knew it was very well organized. Something was going on, and she was on top of it. Well, we spent a couple years of that, and I became very close with all of these. As I worked with Aka on her math improved. As I worked with Chinari, she also got better at math. We would play games with division mostly. And when we were doing long division, she wanted me to put the biggest divisor and the biggest quotient in there. And then as I was winning, she would lay on my arm so that I could not write. And then she declared bragging rights to all her friends that she knew. I beat her. I beat her. I beat her. And so it was. The artist and the little girl that wanted to dominate and rule everyone she ever met. Now, during this process, there was also clashes. I mean, bickering, but it was bickering on a whole nother level. Miss Pam, do you know how stupid she is? Well, I kind of like your sister. Well, you really don't know. No, I think I do know. I tutor her. The other one would say, Miss Pam, do you realize how cruel and mean little sister is? I said, yes, I think I do. But there was one day that there was a massive, massive confrontation. You see, Father had bought art supplies. He had bought one set for little sister, little girl. He had bought one for the older. And they were two separate worlds, and those worlds were never going to combine. But one day, Chinari, little girl, decided to test boundaries again. While we were doing math and listening to Asian boy bands, Chinari went over to Big Sister's art supply. She picked up one of the pens and she ran out of the room. Dear friends, that might have been a discussion in some homes, but in this home, it was ba-boom! Give me back my pen! This was said into my ear. The molecules in my brain vibrated, I think, for 2 hours after that confrontation. After each confrontation, I said to the girls, love each other. Love each other. Life will get hard. And their responses were, Miss Pam, you don't know. And I said, love each other. Life will get hard. Dear friends, I went to Chinari's, our engagement or dance recital, a week ago. The two girls lost their father. I learned about that while Chinari danced her heart out, and she was absolutely incredible. I watched older sister stand up and speak about Chinari and how wonderful she was. And my dreams came true, that they loved each other in the midst of incredible pain. Dear friends, love your sisters and brothers. Life is short.